do you remember about the 1985 Patriots? 40 years later, we're going back to tell the story of the first Patriots team to make it to a Super Bowl, a special team that blazed a pathway that we've much traveled over the next 4 decades. Hear from the players and coaches, as well as the sounds from television and radio that define the season, as we uncover what made this a Patriots team to remember, even if they didn't win a Super Bowl championship.
Hector stopped by Tippett. Annihilated might be a better word.
Patriots, David Claiborne, arches back, touchdown, New England, the defense scores. Grogan's back, looking to throw, fires this one to Pryor, touchdown! Stanley Morgan, touchdown! Still going as Robert Weathers down to 35, the 40, the 25, the 20, 50, 10, 5, he's got it all, touchdown! There's Irving Pryor running it all the way for a touchdown, 85 yards, Irving Pryor. Decent rolling out to the right side, avoiding the pressure, on the run, he throws, complete for a touchdown, Lynn Dawson in the end zone, 6 points, Patriots. Touchdown, Patriots, Tony Collins, the Patriots have the lead.
I'm Mike Dussault, and this is a Patriots Super Bowl Sound Odyssey, 1985. Episode 9, Bury the Bears.
You've come a long way. About a year and a half ago, this team was in disarray. You came in, everything settled down. A lot of confidence on this team now.
Yeah, they have played up to their capabilities, and I felt like I told them yesterday, all I was concerned about was playing like they can play, and I thought things would be all right. I think they played pretty good.
If they keep doing that, you'll have a Super Bowl trophy. All right.
For the first time in franchise history, the Patriots were AFC champions and headed to Super Bowl 20. They had made league history, becoming the first team to win 3 playoff road games by knocking off the Jets, Raiders, and Dolphins in their home stadiums. Long-suffering Patriots fans finally had something to believe in, as the region was euphoric for their Super Bowl team in the 2 weeks leading up to the big game. It was a New England Patriots franchise that didn't quite know how to handle the craziness of playing in a Super Bowl. Patriots Director of Scouting Administration Nancy Meyer, who is still with the organization after more than half a century and has been to all 11 Patriots Super Bowls, recalled what it was like the very first time.
I don't think we really realized a Super Bowl was such a big stage. You saw it on TV, but then having to, pack up from Foxborough, go to New Orleans, set up offices. People were preparing parties like we had never been to. And I mean, even how the tickets for parties was such a big deal. And you've got to get buses and hotel rooms, and we had no experience with any of that.
So the Bears and Patriots arrive in New Orleans as first-time Super Bowl participants. And it's the first time teams from Boston and Chicago, towns rich in sports tradition and romance, have met in the final round of any sport since 1918, when Babe Ruth helped pitch the Red Sox to a World Series win over the Cubs.
Well, it was so fun in the beginning because we were in a different stadium. We didn't have a lot of experience going to stadiums. And they gave us all these great seats. We thought they were going to be so awesome. We're like in row 6 or something. And we go to the stadium that day, and we're bombing around going and finding our seats, and we realize row 6 is so low that you can't see over the sidelines and the players. So, it was a little bit of a trickery with these seats that seemed on paper to be so great. But I'll always treasure that ticket. I have that ticket, and it will always just mean the world to me to have been there.
I know you're the representative of all the people, but the time has come, Mr. President, for you to make a choice. Now, who do you like, the Bears or the Patriots?
I think they're both great teams. I recognize that in my position, I'm not supposed to take sides. I have to say it's very easy, though, to really be proud of and approving of both of these teams, the Patriots and all that they've gone through, and starting as they did later in the season, recovering and coming back and being there in the Super Bowl, and the length of time that people have waited for this.
The Patriots players took note of how loose the Bears seemed in the lead up to the big game. Billy Sullivan and Raymond Berry made sure everyone in the Patriots family could be there to take in the experience.
Among all the families ever involved in professional sports, there has probably never been a clan quite like the Sullivans. An indomitable strain of Irish Catholics, their fierce loyalty to one another and ability to stir up attention have given them a legendary reputation.
The experience was really fun. Subsequent to all this, after my dad sold the team, we ended up in litigation with the NFL And one of the lawyers for the NFL said, well, we understand at the Super Bowl, you chartered, the league would allow you and pay for you to charter a team plane, a staff plane, which would also include family members of the team, and that would be it. And this lawyer says to my dad, we understand you chartered a third plane. And, well, who was that for? And he goes, my friends. It was for my friends. He said they had been with me for 25 years and they put up with me and put up with the ups and downs. And so I wanted them to be with me, So that was his mentality.
Having their families present meant a lot to players like Tony Collins, Garen Veras, and Steve Nelson.
The biggest thing was my family got to come to New Orleans. I'm from a big family. I'm from a family of 16. There were 9 boys and 7 girls, and I always wanted to play in the NFL. My older brothers, I would be out playing, and we'd be out playing in the backyard with my older brothers. Then my older brothers would go inside, and I would stay outside all by myself. And they would see me outside playing, just catching the ball and running. They would say, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm playing in the Super Bowl." And I would do that. I mean, I don't know how many times I would be out there all by myself playing in the Super Bowl. That was so cool that my family got the opportunity. I said, look, I'm playing in the Super Bowl. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we're in a Super Bowl. And I mean, for me, it was new for all of us. I mean, we hadn't really been close before. Some of the older guys had been, close with their playoff run. But, most of the roster it was a new experience. It was in New Orleans, a great city to have a Super Bowl in. Raymond Berry allowed us to, treat it like, bring our families in, being close with our families, go out and have a good time. But we weren't that raw, crazy acting, that the Bears were. I mean, they were loose. They were a good football team. They had every reason to be who they are, and they didn't change. But, we didn't play up to, our best that day.
For me, it was great because my family got to come down and enjoy the week in New Orleans. And I had a bunch of buddies that I grew up with in high school and college that came down. And I don't know what the policy is, but back then I think you could buy 20 tickets. So I was able to buy all the tickets and give it to my family and my friends. So, and I know they had a much better time than I did on it, but it was really special, yeah.
The Chicago Bears represented the Patriots' biggest challenge yet. They had gone 15-1 and were fresh off a shutout win over the Rams in the NFC Championship.
They'll play either Miami or New England. Whoever they play is going to have their hands full. 24-0, the Bears.
Bears head coach Mike Ditka said all the right things about the Patriots after they punched their ticket to New Orleans.
It's great to play the Patriots. We played them the second game of the season, and we thought at that time they were the best football team we had seen on film coming out of the exhibition season defensively. And I think what Ray's done there is tremendous. They're a good football team with great balance, and I think they play the game the way it's supposed to be played. They don't do anything really spectacular. They just do what it takes to beat you, and I think that's a credit to him and his coaching staff.
Patriots head coach Raymond Berry maintained the same focus that had gotten his team to this point.
There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I have no doubt about that, and that makes all the difference. That's the whole foundation under it. So I've got a job to do. I've got a task to carry out, and my nature is also I only know one way to do something, and that's all out.
Veterans like Steve Nelson had been waiting over a decade for this opportunity, and after 3 straight road playoff wins, they held a true belief that they were going to do it again.
I think we had a real confidence that we're going to win the game. Yeah, and I think it was like you mentioned, a combination of a lot of things. The 2 previous playoff games, and I think we knew we knew what we had to do, and we had to shut down Duper and Clayton, and we did, and that was the most important game. Obviously, the highlight of my career, AFC Championship and everything else, and going to the Super Bowl.
Turnovers are the name of the game. They have led the AFC in forcing turnovers, and during the playoffs, they've forced an incredible total of 16 turnovers, which have resulted in 61 points. Perhaps the most critical player for them, Andre Tippett, outside linebacker.
The rest of the team, like All-Pro John Hanna, second-year Pro Bowl punt returner Irving Fryer, and 1,000-yard rusher Craig James said the magnitude of the game and the extended Super Bowl pregame schedule were a challenge.
I think we played a lot of teams and beat a lot of teams with a lot more talent than us because we wanted to win more than they did. Whereas, and there was a certain amount of intensity that went into it. Well, at the Super Bowl, you can't keep an intensity level up for 4 or 5 hours like a Super Bowl is. You can only keep it up for a limited time, and I think that hurt us. You got to kind of go into a Super Bowl game kind of relax more than you do with when you play in just a normal game, or that's the way it was when we played. Of all the games that I played in, it was just not the same tempo.
I think we realized we're at the Super Bowl and we made too big of a deal. You hear people say all the time when they're playing games, particularly big games, just treat it like it's another game. We didn't treat it like it was another game. We treated it like we were in the Super Bowl. Wow, we're in the Super Bowl. Okay, we can't do this. We can't do that. We can't do this.
Going back and looking at the moments of that leading up to that game, I wish I had known how long the pregame was, about all of the stuff. I mean, we knew coming out of the AFC Championship game the next week here in Foxborough, the number of media attention was phenomenal. I mean, it was cameras everywhere. So we knew that was there. We had great confidence that we were going to go down there and run the football.
The pregame was also a full circle moment for rookie Garen Veras, who had worked at Super Bowl 19 exactly 1 year earlier.
I was a senior the year before I was with the Patriots. I was at Stanford University. I was a senior, and the Super Bowl was actually played in Stanford Stadium. And I actually worked the sideline of that Super Bowl. I was on the sideline as a security guard for the Miami Dolphin bench for Super Bowl 19. And then to, next year be a starter in the Super Bowl, playing in the Super Bowl for me, I mean, it was a year.
The Patriots had lost to the Bears 20-7 in week 2 and hung with them as well as anybody had in 1985, except for the Dolphins, who used a pass-heavy attack with Dan Marino to hang 38 points on Chicago.
The offense was not spectacular. It was functional with about 3 or 4 big plays all day long. It was totally the Chicago Bear defense, just stifling, absolutely stifling the New England Patriots.
The Patriots had tried a similar approach in week 2, but Eason completed just 15 of 35 passes while throwing 3 interceptions and taking 6 sacks. However, the defense hung tough against Walter Payton, Jim McMahon, and a Bears offense that would finish the year ranked second in points and first in rushing attempts, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. Steve Nelson and Andre Tippett said despite the earlier loss, the Patriots had confidence.
We had played them during the regular season, got beat, but we played them pretty tough, and I think that gave us the confidence that we could beat them. After the previous 3 weeks, we played, really sound football, and turnover-wise, we didn't turn the ball over, but the Bears were a special team that year. They really were, and they had it all going.
It was like, all right, we wasn't there, we wasn't meshing, so nobody's paying attention to NFC, what the Chicago Bears are doing. So we see them as that team. Well, we're gonna get them. We're gonna play a little bit better than we did second game of the season.
The Patriots were underdogs, but they had come too far and won too many road games to blink now. They'd already avenged 3 of their regular season losses in the playoffs and were aiming to make it 1 more.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy awaited either the 18-1 Chicago Bears or the wild card New England Patriots.
How confident are you? I think everybody feels real good. We're playing a very fine football team, and you got to play your best to give yourself a chance to win, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
The curtain is about to pull, and Super Bowl 20 will play to this enthusiastic audience in New Orleans. Nearly 74,000 fans, SRO. The stage is colorfully set for the NFL's top 2 companies, the Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots.
January 26, 1986, the Louisiana Superdome, Super Bowl 20, Patriots versus Bears. At last, the big game had arrived.
I mean, you play your whole career for a shot at the Super Bowl. You don't play you don't play it for, the times you won the AFC East or, the time you beat a particular team. You play, there's 32 teams and they're all aimed at the same goal, and that was to win the Super Bowl. And to be there and have a shot at it really was pretty meaningful.
The Patriots had gotten to the Super Bowl by forcing 16 takeaways in 3 playoff games. and their start in Super Bowl 20 made it appear that the formula would continue against the Bears.
Peyton drilled, fumbles the ball, and who has it? The New England Patriots do. And this is the pattern of the underdogs from New England, forcing the turnovers. 16 of them in the first 3 playoff games, and the underdogs have come up with a big break today.
Walter Payton's fumble, forced by rookie Garen Veras, just 2 plays into the game, set up the Patriots at the Bears' 19-yard line with a chance to take an early lead.
Probably the highlight of my career, I know, was on the second play of the game to be able to make Walter Payton fumble and led to us getting a field goal. To me, I mean, I was sky high. I was, rookie making Walter Payton, of all people, one of the best running backs, to hit him and make him fumble, to me was, I didn't think about it at the time, but afterwards, it was a big event for me.
The Patriots bypassed their run game and came out throwing, as they had in Week 2. The first pass fell incomplete, but it was a devastating play for New England, as tight end Lynn Dawson went down with a knee injury that would put him out for the game.
Tony Eason, play action fake. He's going to go for the quick score, throwing for his tight end. Incomplete. Lynn Dawson, number 87, and he may have been injured on the play.
And when Lynn Dawson got hurt and took away one of our tight ends,
first down.
When we couldn't go too tight and run the football, they would have stopped us 2 out of 4 times. But those other 2 times, we'd have got them. And we'd have been a much better game, different game. Don't take anything from the Chicago Bears. They were a great team, had the unique defense, the 4-6. They had the right personalities in place for all of that.
Lynn Dawson, and obviously a serious injury. The Patriots have only 2 tight ends, Dawson and Ramsey. In many cases, like to use 2 tight ends, especially with that 46 defense of the Bears. That really handicaps them.
That injury had a big impact on our guys because it was a really significant knee injury, and he was on the ground for a long time, which I think had a big impact on our guys because Lynn was exceptionally popular leader on our team.
After Dawson exited, the Patriots kept throwing, and their second pass looked like it was going to be an easy score. But Stanley Morgan had a rare drop that gave running back Robert Weathers a bad premonition.
Eason over the middle to Morgan, through his hands, and he had a touchdown. Mike Singletary, the middle linebacker, may have gotten a piece of the ball in flight.
Stanley Morgan never drops balls. He's Mr. 100 assured. And he comes across and has that slant, hits him right in the chest, and he drops it. And I'm like, okay, I'm not liking this vibe.
The Patriots settled for a 3-0 lead, missing an early chance to take advantage of a rare Bears mistake.
It's on its way, and New England has the early lead.
Chicago had the 4th fewest giveaways in the league in 1985. But it appeared early on that the game might unfold in a similar way to the Patriots' previous playoff wins, where they took control of the game by forcing consistent turnovers.
Peyton's fumble turns into early points for the Patriots.
The early opportunities continued for New England, but they just weren't able to make Chicago pay. On the Bears' next possession, Don Blackman just missed out on an interception that might have gone for a pick 6.
Incomplete and almost intercepted by Don Blackman. It was intended for the tight end, Emery Moorhead, and Blackman had a hand on it.
Blackman, a co-MVP last week, along with Fred Marion. And you see him saying, I could have had 6 with that one.
I think there are a couple of critical plays really early in the game. One was Donnie Blackman deflects a pass and can almost waltz in for a pick 6, right? But he drops it, right? And that would have made it 10-zip.
The Bears' drive continued, but the Patriots' defense stopped them inside the red zone thanks to a big hit by Ronnie Lepet on Jim McMahon that forced a field goal attempt. The 28-yarder was good, and the Super Bowl was all tied up, 3-3.
McMahon likes to run. He's got his avenue. Oh, what a hit at the 10-yard line by Ronnie Lepet. Oh, my.
McMahon was coming, and I had to make it. Do I hit him up top or do I cut him? And knowing me, what I like to do is cut him. I cut him. And he came down on his head, man. And I didn't understand why their guys came to hit me, the big lineman came over and pushed me down. I'm like, I'm ready to fight. And Andre and Roland's coming up, man, that's where they hit that dude. I'm like, okay, great. What did I do?
McMahon literally flies into the air after that hit. And some of the Bears' offensive linemen up there quickly to try and protect their quarterback.
After 3 straight incompletions on the Patriots' first possession, Eason threw 2 more on their second time with the ball, and then took his first sack of the day on 3rd down. The Patriots punted it back to the Bears. But once again, the defense would make things tough on Chicago, with Blackman nearly picking off another pass.
Man under pressure. Intended for Payton, and there's Blackman again. That's 2 times that this linebacker from Tulsa has had his hands on a possible intercept. Give to Payton. That's a play that the Patriots have used well in the playoffs. Andre Tippett on the back of Payton after short yardage, and the Bears will have to kick it.
Patriots defense forced their first punt of the game, while the offense tried their luck with the running game after Eason's first 6 passes were all incomplete.
Well, now you guys are known for a running team, basically, but you came in the game and all the first few plays were passing plays. What was that strategy?
Well, I wanted to establish the fact that we need to throw the ball. I didn't think we could come into the game and cram the ball down the Bears' throat. And getting our passing game going, I thought was really important to getting some balance back in our offense.
Craig James was stopped for no gain on the first play of the third possession, and when Eason dropped back on second down, the turnover parade began to dramatically alter how the game was unfolding.
The Patriots, a running team, have done nothing but pass in this first quarter. And so it is. And Eason will eat it. He was sacked 6 times in the second game of the year by the Bear defense. He's down for the first time today.
The Bears took over at the New England 13, but the valiant Patriots defense continued to battle, getting a second red zone stop and holding the Bears to another field goal that made it 6-3.
The Patriots, a running team, they only threw 12 times against Miami in the championship game. They've thrown it all 6 times they've had the ball so far in this one.
Raymond Berry said he would not be predictable today. Indeed, he's come out and broken all of the molds and all of the tendencies that he'd established in the playoffs.
The Patriots defense keyed on Hall of Fame running back Walter Payton, and the Bears began to utilize physical fullback Matt Suhey and even William the Refrigerator Perry, who attempted an early pass.
It's Perry's going to throw the ball. No, they decide to try to run through people, and he doesn't get very far. So they unplug the cord on the refrigerator, and we've got a little extracurricular activity.
The red zone stop was an early victory for the Patriots defense, but the offense couldn't rally off the momentum. Craig James fumbled on the very next play.
On the ground to Craig James. Caught in the backfield. And a fumble, and the Bears have it again.
The defense went back onto the field again, deep in their own territory. This time, it would take Chicago just 2 running plays with Suhey to get the game's first touchdown.
Don Blackman was offside. Suhey is in the end zone for a touchdown. The flag is down, but unless Blackman was drawn offside, Chicago has 6 more.
2 Patriots turnovers, 13 unanswered points. The Bears were off and running, and the Patriots' hopes of a win rapidly fading. Hanging by a thread, the offense pitched another 3 and out, and the Bears would respond with their best drive of the day, with fullback Suhey continuing to dominate with a 24-yard catch, then 3 straight carries that total 11 yards. McMahon followed the fridge into the end zone, and the blowout was on. With just under 8 minutes left in the second quarter, the Bears were up 20-3.
20-3, the Chicago Bears lead it with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the first half, and the Patriots are still in the minus pool without a first down.
Eason will get one last chance, but once again it was a 3 and out with another sack. Chicago's front was a nightmare, and Eason was under siege as running back Craig James and receiver Cedric Jones saw firsthand. Without an extra tight end to block or throw to, the Patriots offense could not get anything going against the Bears, on the ground or through the air.
Bobby Greer, my running back coach at the time, he said, "Hey, what are you seeing?" I said, "I think they got one more guy than we do."
They got 15 guys out there. Right.
They're illegal over there.
Right.
But they were close. They were hunkered down. And if you wanted to throw the football, which it wanted you to do, you couldn't block them. They were going to have somebody get to your quarterback. You didn't have the normal 2.9 seconds. You were going to get sacked. You had to get rid of it. And so then, therefore, that's why you had to have the 2 tight, run it, pound them, man on man, let's go. But then they have an extra man in the box. Well, that was going to be up to the running backs. Then we had to take care of that extra guy. It just never got to that point.
I tell people it felt like we had 11 on offense and they had 22 on defense. That's my story I'm sticking with. They hit us from every angle, and we probably didn't play. We didn't play as well as we could have. And when I look back at it, we were a little tired. All those games in the road, traveling, packing up, going to L.A., staying for a week, coming back, going to Miami for a week, and then we had a week off and practicing, came to New Orleans. So I think we were a little tight and we were a little gassed.
Even all-pro linebacker Andre Tippett could see how dominant this Bears defense was.
And still, you don't know how powerful that defense is until you're on the field at the Super Bowl and you're looking and you're watching what's happening out there. And our team is getting destroyed. And it's just, the Bears are willing their soul on us, and they're just like Katie bar the door, put the women and children away because they're ravaging and pillaging and killing. And that's what they did to us.
Yeah.
It was like, I take my hat off to them. That year, I tell everybody, I said, that year, I don't even think a all-star team put together the National Football League that could compete against that defense, the way they played.
2 plays later, the Patriots got one final chance to make it a game when Matsui fumbled and Raymond Claiborne recovered. With the offense going backwards, Berry inserted Steve Grogan.
He fumbles. And New England has it at the 46-yard line, so the Patriots get a break. As Suey didn't appear that he was hit, might have been changing the ball, and Steve Nelson was there to make sure that it rocked free.
I'm not so sure that Easton and that offense want to go back out. Oh, Grogan's out there.
Steve Grogan, the veteran from Kansas State, playing on a knee that is hardly 100%.
It was Grogan's first appearance since breaking his leg against the Jets in Week 12, when he had led the Patriots on a 6-game win streak after Easton was lost to injury. Grogan had been the spark that turned the season around, and now the Patriots were asking him to pull off the near impossible to turn the Super Bowl around against a historic team already up by 17 points.
Completes it to Collins, and Tony Collins is into Bears territory with the first New England completion. It comes with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half.
Grogan got the Patriots' first completion on his second attempt, and James picked up the first down on his second completion, and suddenly the Patriots had a first down and were near midfield. It was just a brief glimpse of who the 1985 Patriots were at their best, if but only for a fleeting moment, as Grogan's next 2 passes fell incomplete and the Patriots were punting for a 4th time. Chicago added another field goal to make it 23-3 at halftime.
It was the first half, as we said, in which New England had opportunities earlier in the half, and then, of course, the Chicago defense just took over and dominated.
In the second half, the floodgates fully opened and the rout was on.
McMahon rolls in a somersault 6, and the Bears lead 29-3. And intercepted for a touchdown, the rookie Reggie Phillips. Complete, and then a fumble, and the Bears have it again. Wilbur Marshall at the 40. Marshall laterals to Wilson. Hello. And finally Wilson down at the 38. And they're playing playground with the Patriots now. Perry. That one registered 3.8. Another Super Bowl record, the first refrigerator to score.
They're just chopping and cutting and grabbing and snatching and killing our quarterback and killing the running back. And it was like, oh my God, somebody cut somebody. Somebody get in front of somebody and slow them up.
Patriot quarterbacks were not the problem. Chicago's 46 defense was. Buddy Ryan had created the most devastating defense in Super Bowl history.
When you talk about the 46, you're talking about pressure. That's what we're really all about. It's just the pressure that we're trying to apply. Basically, it's a 7-man front, and you always have at least 6 guys coming.
I was in awe of it. I really was. I'm like, that is sweet. I said, I've never heard of 46 defense. And after that, I got the book on the 46 defense. And I just started watching that and studying that. I said, this is amazing that they had the right talent at every position to pull off that 46 defense and make it what it was for that year.
The Patriots would post a touchdown early in the 4th quarter, but it was too little, too late.
And the Bear fans don't want their team to give up a touchdown. But they get it. Irving Fryer. First time they've thrown to him today, and Fryer clutches the Patriots' only touchdown.
The Bears would cap it off with a safety, a final exclamation point on a blowout win.
A safety made the final score 46-10, leaving the Patriots to contemplate their role in the most lopsided game in Super Bowl history.
New England had their chances early in the game, and it initially looked like they'd continue to dominate the turnover battle and win because of it. But in the biggest game, the takeaways dried up, while the Patriots' giveaways reared their ugly head for the first time all postseason. After being plus 12 on turnovers through 3 playoff games, the Pats were -4 in the Super Bowl.
You know, one of the first things that we did at practice was defensive linemen, quarterbacks, running back, defensive back, whatever position you played, you started off by recovering fumbles. And, you know, the defense was always punching the ball out or stripping the ball. That was the main thing that Coach Berry taught. And that's what got us there. And If we would have continued to get 6 against the Bears, who knows what would have happened, that we could have been right in there. But it didn't happen, and we lost the game, and that was a big thing that helped us get there to the Super Bowl.
And I'm really proud of our football team. They've just come so darn far over such a hard road this year and played as consistent football as any team I've ever been around. And I just don't think there was one more darn thing we could have done today.
The final score, Bears 46, Patriots 10. It was a stunning end to a special season and a Super Bowl loss that would overshadow what had been the most successful Patriots season in team history. 40 years later, the Patriots players could joke about the loss's impact.
I've heard it described that, like one of the greatest comebacks of Super Bowl history occurred January 25th, 1986, when the Chicago Bears, finding themselves down 3-0 with only 59 minutes to go in the game, stormed back and won.
I mean, it's the Super Bowl. It's the main game, and they were they were coming at us pretty hard. Our guys, man, they were beat up. People don't know this, but our offensive line was pretty beat up, and but we held as much as we can. But they didn't get 50.
And every, January when they show the highlights of all the Super Bowls, I'm hoping that score is going to change.
Well, I still hate going through O'Hare Airport. When I go to Chicago to visit my oldest daughter, I still walk around with my fist balled up because I just know somebody's going to yell out, Super Bowl 20, we kicked y'all ass.
Looking at it overall, I mean, we had a great season, had a bad day that day, and it was something to learn from. And I don't have any regrets about it. We went out there and played hard. So many guys played so hard all season long. I hated for us to end it that way, but I love the guys, and we love each other because of that team, and we had nothing to hang our heads about. Bad game, and we were there.
I'm still really proud of that team and being a part of the team. Again, they're a much better team than we were that day, so that happens. But I was proud to be on that team, and it was great to play in that game. It's deciding who the best team in the world is, so football team. So that was a thrill.
1985 special teams coach Dante Scarnecchia, who would be a part of all but one of the Patriots' next 10 trips to the Super Bowl, used his experience to put it in perspective of how hard it is to win the last one.
You have to really put the excitement of what's going on to the side. Even though you're hearing it from everywhere, every game gets bigger, and there's not enough people that stop coming up to you and patting you on the back and telling you how great this is and how much fun it is. It's really obvious, but you have to get beyond that and stay grounded and keep your focus on what is really important, and assume nothing. Assume that everything's going to click, or everything that happened really good for you in one game is going to be the same in the next game. It just doesn't work that way without being concentrated. Great concentration. Everybody working hard, everybody practiced in the same way, and not getting too enamored with yourselves. And that's pretty much how that team, took it all. And, it's sad that it didn't carry over to the last game, but that was one of the great football teams of all time. The 85, 86 Bears.
It wasn't the ending the Patriots wanted, but it was still a season to remember. They were the first Patriots team to win a playoff game in the NFL. A team that got revenge on the Raiders. A team that won in Miami for the first time in almost 2 decades. A team that won an AFC championship. And a team that showed the New England Patriots could make it to the Super Bowl.
What a thing of beauty that was. Craig James got 3 in that secondary, and none of those guys could catch him.
Back is Easton looking to throw, and he sends it deep down the middle. He's got a receiver. Complete. Stanley Morgan. Touchdown. Still going on his rabbit with us. Down to the 35, the 40, the 25, the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's got it all. Touchdown. Robert Weathers. Looking for a block. He's up over the 20, 25, cuts through over the 30, down to the 40. He's at midfield. He's on the fly, down the right sideline. Look out. I think he's going to go all the way. The 15, the 10, 5. There's Irving Fryer running it all the way for a touchdown. 85 yards.
Patriots would return to the Super Bowl again and again, but it started here with a special team that made Patriots fans believe. Craig James traced the roots of success back to 1985.
So think about Bob Kraft. I'm sure he was a Patriots fan of the 1985 team. He's watching this organization do that and gets almost there to a world championship, a Super Bowl. And then he has the money and the ability to come in and buy it. It had an impact on him. So it impacted the family of Patriot fans, organization, players. When they come through here and they go through the Hall of Fame, they see what's on those walls in there. And it started in 1985. We got there. We knocked on the door. And very, very proud of that.
For New England, it was a Cinderella story, only it ended at 12 o'clock. There was no prince.
Next time on the 1985 Patriots Super Bowl Sound Odyssey, it's the series finale, as we take a look at the legacy of this Patriots team and how their impact continued to be felt through the next 4 decades.